What's up? What's going on, everybody out there? You're listening to the Ray and Dre Show, featuring J Manop. I'm Dre Manning.
I'm J Manop in the place to pop.
Raymond V could not be here today to be with us, but he sends his love. At this moment that we're recording this podcast, we have sad news to present. We'll start with China, former WWE wrestler, WWF wrestler. She passed away today. We've said this before numerous times. You know, rest in peace, man. She was an important part, an important figure in the Attitude Era during the WWF reign. She was the sidekick to Triple H. She was the big shoulder to Shawn Michaels. She would low blow the shit out of everybody. I got low blowed a couple times when I was a kid because of her. She's definitely gonna be a big loss in the wrestling entertainment world.
Absolutely. I've low blowed. You know, I've gotten low blowed before, so hey.
Yeah, man, it sucked. And then, you know, at the same time, right before we came on to record this podcast, we found out that the icon, the legend, the symbol, the man that we know as Prince has passed away.
Yes. Rest in peace.
Definitely rest in peace. Growing up, I was a Michael Jackson fan, so my mom played Michael Jackson and Marvin Gaye all throughout the house. I really didn't listen to much Prince. I saw Purple Rain, actually. I forgot to point that out. I definitely did see Purple Rain. But I know you told me you was definitely a huge Prince fan.
Yo, growing up, Prince was that nigga, man. Point blank, period. Like, Michael Jackson was dope because
he's Michael.
You know what I'm saying? It's Michael Jackson, but we didn't have nearly as many Michael Jackson albums as we did Prince albums when I was growing up. Yeah. So Prince was always that dude. Yeah. Prince is always going to be that dude as well. I mean, love Michael and everything, but Prince is Prince. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Definitely. So it's a tremendous loss. You know, my mother, her birthday is tomorrow. She was a huge Prince fan. Yeah. You know, so it's definitely like it's a double heartbreak for real.
Shit, man, he probably up there performing for Mama Monopoly.
He might be performing for Mama Monopoly. She might be up there like, hey,
yeah, hey,
yeah, whoa. whoa.
But it's definitely gonna hurt the music industry. I mean, there's gonna be a bunch of cover records out there now, a bunch of remakes. You know, they're gonna definitely do what's the shows? Not anniversary shows, but tribute shows. They're gonna do tribute events for them. I can see BET gearing up one already. Is that me?
Yes, Edwin.
Just tap that one. You know,
decline.
Decline it. Yeah. So as you can see, everything goes down on the podcast.
Word.
People calling me whenever they feel like it. But anyway, back to the topics that we have at hand. Definitely a big loss for Prince.
Huge loss, man. He's a Gemini too, just like myself. I'm June 6th. He's June 7th.
Yeah.
So you know it's a tremendous loss, and I'm really crushed by it. I could be sitting here right now, you know, having this conversation, but you know it really sucks. It's like one of those things where it's like,
you know, do you think we'll ever get any validity to the Charlie Murphy stories?
I don't know. Best we could do is just ask Morris Day and the Tom or somebody. Like they were probably there for that shit. Like
shirts versus blouses. Remember that shit, man?
Game.
Yeah.
Blouses.
What was it? What did he serve them after?
Pancakes.
It was pancakes.
Good game. Too bad I can't say the same for you. Bitches.
So, yo, man, it's definitely so much that he's done for music, man.
Right.
Like, and it's a major impact. A lot of people's style comes from Prince. You know, like
Miguel.
Yeah, definitely Miguel. You
know, even Andre 3000. Definitely. You can't name an artist that like hasn't been touched by Prince.
I mean, Prince was the only man probably in history that I probably said, "Damn, man, he's cute." You know,
yo, comedians had jokes like Jamie Foxx and I think Tracy Morgan. They were like, "Don't ever look in Prince's eyes, because you just get drawn in." Man.
Yeah, I think he was the creator of the vampire persona, man. Like it was just something about him, like from his music down to it seems like the person that he was. It was just like, man,
he was a mysterious dude. Mm-hmm. You know, like there were a lot of things about Prince that a lot of fun Prince facts. When you hear him, it's like, oh, really? Like Prince?
Yeah.
His favorite cereal, from what I hear, from what he said on the song, actually, is Captain Crunch.
Really?
Yeah, that's my favorite cereal. So
I like Captain Crunch as well, but it has to have crunch berries.
It has to have crunch berries. Yeah,
I don't know about that other one.
And he likes his. I like the red box. The red box.
The red box is cool.
Yeah, the red box of Captain Crunch is dope. The Crunch Berries are even doper, but like, yo, when that red box of Captain Crunch be hitting, bro.
Yeah.
Should be hitting. So he likes the cereal the same way I like mine. He's like, I like it kind of soggy. Okay. I like my Captain Crunch soggy because that should be cutting the fuck out your mouth. So
I get it though. I understand 100%, man.
Yeah.
We definitely gonna miss his impact on music.
Definitely.
You think Miguel will be able to step it up?
What to
kind of like fill that void?
Fuck no.
Nah.
I like Miguel. I'm a Miguel fan, but that's the thing. We get too caught up, like when we have certain artists, we get too caught up if there's somebody that does something like them. Mm-hmm. We get too caught up trying to like compare them to that artist. True. Miguel's dope as fuck,
but he's no Prince.
Like Understood. Prince is Prince, and Prince is still putting out fucking music. Prince has put out an album just about almost every year since he's been out.
Yeah,
he might have missed a year or two, but like, and Prince, from what I've heard, and we can learn something from this shit. Prince writes and records a song every day.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like his work ethic is crazy. There's music that he has that's never coming out. Mm-hmm. Prince can scrap.
But he does it to stay sharp.
He does it to stay sharp. Prince was able to play every instrument.
Yes,
there is, and Prince could scrap a whole album, do a whole another one, and just go on about his business. There are actually scrapped Prince albums.
Wow,
a lot of them.
Wow,
shit that we ain't never gonna fucking hear. But you
think now that he's because somebody else is gonna step in and be in charge of his estate, you think we might get that music now?
We might get some of that music unless he was very. We might and we might not, because from what I know, Prince is no nonsense and he's very particular.
Okay,
so it's like
most likely the people that's in charge of it is the same way,
right? Yeah. They're gonna uphold what he would have wanted. Like I'm sure that he's thought about it time and time again. When you get to that stature and that level of like
icon, he's an icon, right? When you become an icon, you got to make sure that the people that's around you, they're going to live up to every wish that you have when you move on.
And they're going to make sure that everything is carried out the way that you would have wanted it to be.
Definitely.
So, of course, like there might be stuff that we hear, there might be stuff that we don't hear. Mm-hmm. So it's either way, man, it's still a tremendous loss. Rest in peace.
Didn't you tell me for the cover of his new single?
Like it was a single he put out like maybe a couple years back called Breakfast. Mm-hmm. He took the like when Dave Chappelle spoofed him on the Chappelle show. Mm-hmm. He took that and used it as the artwork.
Nice.
That was pretty fucking awesome.
Okay.
It goes to show like, okay, he's not really offended by the shit.
Yeah, he's in tune with it. He knows what's going on. I'm most likely they ran it past him like, hey, Prince, you mind if we do X, Y, and Z, tell a story. That makes me think even more, like make me feel even more like this story is true.
Right.
Like,
exactly.
Just knowing that he kind of knew it was going to come and it was going to happen, man.
Yo, actually, now that I think about it, rumor has it, Prince was pretty nice on the court.
Word?
Yeah, Prince could ball from what I heard.
Man, he might have bust that ass then.
He might have,
and he might have played in a blouse at the same time. That part, I feel like that was kind of like fabricated. I don't believe he actually went out there and played in the blouse.
Yeah, hey, you never know, man. But I heard Prince is pretty dope on the court.
That's dope, man. Yeah. I mean, once again, man, sleep in peace. He's gonna be very well missed in the music community and everybody's lives. So many babies was made through Prince, man. Made off of Prince music.
Rest in peace to Patty Duke as well. From the show Patty Duke, she passed on.
Oh, she did?
Yeah.
Damn, man. When?
I don't know if it was today or not, but it popped up at the same time Prince and China popped up. So,
wow.
Yeah.
And we have Prince, Phife Dawg, China.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's like the beginning of the year. And this is the realities of it. People, children are born. My child was born a couple days ago,
right.
And people move on. So kind of like it's the natural order,
right?
With new life, with death comes new life. But it doesn't soften it in no shape or form. It doesn't soften it. It's kind of still like that sharp pain you feel when you find out someone or someone you're a fan of or someone you're familiar with has moved on, and it's not something you just like, oh, we'll get over it.
Right. Nah, it's a void to be filled.
Yeah.
And there's a cycle of life, Freedom of jail, clips inserted, a man's being born the same time, or baby's being born the same time a man is murdered, the beginning and end.
Yeah.
That's just the cycle of life.
Exactly. But once again, we definitely gonna miss his impact. China as well, Patty Dukes as well. So we're gonna dedicate this podcast to them.
Absolutely.
I wanted to talk to you about something. We're gonna combine these two topics into one conversation.
Okay.
I'm not sure if you're aware of it. Johnny Manziel, a former Cleveland Browns quarterback, was dropped by Nike a couple months ago. They finally announced it. He's no longer endorsed by Nike. His agent didn't even quit. He was fired. Like,
by who?
Johnny was fired. Oh, Johnny was his agent.
Johnny was like, "Fuck you, get the fuck out."
No, other way around. His agent was like, "Fuck you, I'm out."
Right.
It's his second agent that he's lost. He also is no longer represented by LeBron James' marketing team either.
Wow.
This man came into the league with everything and anything to make him a great.
Right.
But chose to do anything to be the other thing.
He's like the Justin Bieber of football. Some shit.
So you know what? Justin Bieber is young enough to rebound from it because he's been there so long.
Well, they the same age, but Justin Bieber has more experience though.
And that's the scary part. Is they're the same age, but Justin Bieber been here since what, 16?
15.
14,
15. That's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? So he's had his time where he was like this heartthrob, and now he's like a douchebag with dreads. Like, you know, like he's Justin had his time. Bieber. Don't get me wrong, I like Justin Bieber's music, and I'm not ashamed to admit that. No, like the adult music that's coming out of him.
That album that you just put out, was pretty dope.
It's pretty fucking good, and I enjoy it. But it comes to a point where you're like, hey, you guys got everything that you need to be great, right? And you choose to squander it all. While, you know, people who come from our neighborhoods and come from our predicaments, and even people who are the same racism come from our predicaments and our neighborhoods, right, want what they have, and when they get it, they'll do anything and everything to keep it. So the other thing I want to tie in with Johnny Manziel is white privilege. I know on this podcast we have a tendency to talk about, you know, how white privilege a lot and cops and things like that. But, you know, this is our realities, and we're not gonna stray away from it and give a blind eye to it and pretend like it's not really happening.
Brother, if it's going on, it's going on.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
and if it's in the media, it's our job to talk about it.
Right.
So my question I gotta pose to you, Brother Manop, is, see, I just got all political. Got all political with it.
You see, Brother Manop.
The question I want to approach, the question I want to bring to you is, do you feel like white people in entertainment get second chances? You know, Johnny, he has a coke habit. He's out partying, destroying $4.5 million mansions.
Johnny Manziel's getting coked up?
Yeah, man.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure they're gonna give him another chance.
Well, yeah. After a while, he's gonna like if he straightens himself up now and really like makes that redemption thing go, like, well, like if he atones for everything that he's done, everything that he's fucked up, then of course they're gonna like let this shit ride.
How long? Like, give me an estimate. How long do you think it would take for him to get it together for them to allow him back into the league? Or like how long do you think it would be like for them to just say he's cut off?
It can be as quick as tomorrow, or it can be like, it could take up to maybe a year or two. But if it takes longer than, if he's not playing by next season,
he's out.
Yeah, then it's pretty much over.
Because nobody's gonna look at him anymore.
Nobody wants a fucking comeback kid in the NFL.
He's gonna be on 30 for 30 for sure.
Yeah, and you don't want to be, no. There's nothing wrong with being a 30 for 30.
There's nothing wrong with being it. But he's gonna be one of those bad 30 for 30s, the ones that we're gonna watch and just be like, jackass.
And he's gonna be coming out of a trailer park, like playing with his dog, or coming up from his mom's basement, like, hey, when I was playing college football,
or he'll be dead.
Yeah, worst case scenario.
The crazy thing about it is, when you think about second chances, you think about these athletes, these entertainers, and the things that they do. Michael Vick, he was dogfighting. Right. He's dogfighting. This man, he came from nothing. He has everything. He's dogfighting. The dogs lose the fight. He electrocutes them to death. He goes to jail for that. He goes to jail for it, and then he has to come out, and it was community service he had to do with with some type of animal organizations, and then he had to make this like an apologetic announcement about how he feels bad for his actions and he would never do this again. And I don't think he can own pets actually.
Wow.
While Brett Favre pulled his penis out in a bathroom. No, he was sending dick pics. Brett Favre got caught sending dick pics. Mind you, he's married.
Right.
He's married, but he's sending dick pics to another woman. Ben Roethlisberger, he cornered a woman in a bathroom
and pulled out his junk.
Yet both these men continued on their careers.
Not just that, but both of these men have wonderful legacies. Mm-hmm. And if I remember clearly, there's also a Denver Broncos quarterback. Maybe
yes,
Manning.
and we wrong one.
Peyton Manning. Excuse me.
I share a name with him. Clearly, his family were my slave masters.
Really?
At some point in time.
You think so?
I mean, we're just gonna put that out there. Hopefully, it makes something out of it. But
word.
So
extra reparations.
Yeah,
and I want them 2 Super Bowl rings.
Yeah. He as a college kid, I hear he was a dick, and he actually put his dick on the head of a female trainer, a medical staff actually, and his family did any and everything to cover it up, including destroying her career.
Wow.
And this information came out when he was on the Colts. They covered it up. It came out while he was in college. They covered it up. And then they couldn't cover it up when it came out after he won his second Super Bowl.
Right.
Because, we're in an internet age where everything is social media and it's quick. You send out that blog post and it's up. It's out.
Exactly. And nothing ever gets deleted from the internet.
Nothing. And now the man who was... he still got away unscathed. Nobody's talking about this situation. If you get on Twitter, you get on Instagram, you type in Peyton Manning, they're glorifying him for being this great quarterback. But very briefly see a couple people maybe put out a post or two about, his wrongdoings. You come back down to like black and brown celebrities, anything they do that's good, their bag gets brought up. Exactly. Michael Vick, who hasn't played in X amount of time, at one point went to jail for doing X, Y, and Z. Wait, but we're talking about how he's doing charity donations.
Right.
And you're bringing up that he went to jail for killing dogs. Now, Brett Favre gets on TV, we're talking about charity donations, and we're talking about how great of a player he is and how he threw that Hail Mary pass in the name of his father and won a Super Bowl. So we're forgetting, so we're going to forget that at one point he was sending dick pics.
He was dick spamming women.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we're going to forget about these things and we're just going to glorify who he is and what he's done. And it's fucked up. There's no second chances for us.
There's not, because it's like once we fuck up, we have to do some kind of like, there's a lot more that we have to do, that we have to make up for, that we have to atone for. Now, as kids, I'm sure that you've heard this. I'm sure that like this has been programmed into your head, but it was instilled in us from the time we were children up until even now. Everything you do, you got to work twice as harder than them.
Yes.
Just to get noticed.
Yes.
Just to get noticed. Not even to get like, the accolades, but just for people to like look at you. You have to work twice as hard as, Johnny from
around the corner
or from the Springs somewhere, from the burbs.
Definitely.
But you have to, you have to work twice as harder. It's crazy because you have to work twice as harder, but you lose it twice as fast.
Yes.
So it's
100%.
It's a double edged, because now it's like, the harder you work, the easier it is for you to just like fall down. Mm-hmm. Especially if you're black and in America. Mm-hmm. So yeah,
I mean, and then we as a people, we'll sit down and go like, how can we change this? We can only change it in ourselves.
Right.
We can only change it how we view each other. If I view you as a brother, if I view you as someone I care for, I have to continue to view you that way. If you fuck up, I gotta be there for you. I can't turn my back on you because the world has already turned their back on you.
Right.
So how is it that I'm just going, oh man, fuck him, man. Whatever he did, that's his problem. That's what he gotta live with. I've already looked at you as my brother and called you my brother, invited you into my home, made you part of my family.
Thanks, brother.
You make a mistake, and now I'm quick to turn my back on you.
Right.
There's people like Johnny Manziel. You know, he keeps a certain. These guys who have money, they come into money, and then when they come into money, they come into friends. You know what I'm saying? That's what it is, quote unquote. You come into friends, so you don't have someone there that's gonna tell you, "Hey, slow down."
Right.
No, because everybody wants to party.
Exactly. Everybody's there for the ride. Exactly. Everybody's there for the highlight.
But when the money is gone, so is everyone else. I can't remember the guy's name. He was on 30 for 30. He was supposed to get drafted. He was like the number 1 player in the city, in New York City, and he was actually better than LeBron.
Lenny. I want to say Lenny Cook.
Yes, Lenny Cook. Lenny Cook had any and everybody around him. He's from Brooklyn.
Right.
He had everything clicking. Foxy Brown's brother Gavin was always around him. Everything going on. Lenny Cook started to fuck up.
Lenny Cook started to treat the shit like it was nothing, and Lenny Cook was busting ass,
and everybody disappeared. And the ride was over.
Lenny Cook lives somewhere in the South, and he's trying to piece his life back together.
Yeah, and it just shows that this comes within a blink of an eye. Opportunities aren't a continuous open door. It opens and it closes, and when it closes, it just might stay shut.
Right.
It just might stay shut. You got to capitalize on every opportunity that you have. You can't just sit back and go, "Oh, I'm gonna get a chance next time." There is no next time.
You got to treat this shit like it's gonna happen just once, and that's it. After that, like,
imagine if Jordan said next time.
Jordan would probably
imagine
be
if
coaching
Steve
high school
Jobs,
basketball.
you know what I'm saying? Steve Jobs, Bill Gates. Imagine if they said next time. We can't focus on the next time. We got to focus on what's right here, right now.
Right.
And capitalize off all these opportunities. What Johnny Manziel is not looking at is, I could have torn my ACL, I could have broken my leg, I could have smashed my arm, my hand, whatever the case may be, and never been able to run or throw a football ever again. I gotta seize the day, and I gotta make sure I go down with the same legacy as a Brett Favre or as a Tony Montana,
Joe Montana,
as a Joe Montana, and instead, you know, he wants to party and get wasted.
But Johnny Manziel was having problems even before he left college.
Yeah, even before he left college,
they were worried. Like, I think there were a couple teams that actually passed on him before he
got picked up by Cleveland.
Browns. Yeah.
What was there was another football player you mentioned. He like stole crab legs or something.
Oh,
like
Jameis Winston.
And he's not even a problem.
No, he's not. Jameis Winston is actually having a pretty decent career.
Yeah.
You know, he's actually doing his thing, and we thought that everybody was looking at him like, he's troublemaker.
He's gonna be a fuck up.
Right, like he was gonna fuck up. And I think he had like a domestic like incident. He might have. I'm not too sure, but. You know, his name was clouded with a little controversy as well, but now it's like you don't ever hear a peep from this kid.
Yeah.
It's like when you're given a certain opportunity, you protect that opportunity with everything that you got, because you never, like you said, you never know when you'll get that shit again. You know, you never know when it'll come back. Now, Johnny Manziel's privilege has enabled him, to act the way that he does.
Yeah.
So now Johnny Manziel doesn't have to answer to he feels like he doesn't have to answer to anybody.
Because he feels like he's going to get another chance.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, he's like, don't worry about it. You know, I'm good. But it's like, to be able to make it into the NFL.
It's not. I had a friend who wanted to, he was busting his ass. I think he went to UB, University of Buffalo.
Right.
And because of concussions, he wasn't drafted. You know, it's not that easy. This is a full contact sport. And not everybody's going to make it.
And I'm sure that he has somebody around him that he blows off that says, listen, kid, you got a lifetime opportunity.
I'm pretty sure his parents is doing it.
Right.
I'm pretty sure his parents is doing it. His like real family members are doing it.
Coaches, people that are actually really counting on him and really give a fuck and being around just for the ride.
What it is he's disappointing them because all he's doing is disappointing himself.
Right.
So not only is he disappointing them, but he's also disappointing himself. And he doesn't know how to fix it. He doesn't know how to get it right. So he continuously fucks up. And you have so much time to get it right. Not even time. I don't want to say that. Because he doesn't have the time.
You have so many chances.
He has so many chances. And he's squandering them left and right. Left and right. Just spitting in the faces of the people that believe him and tell him, you know, we're going to give you another go. We're going to give you another chance. We're going to let you try this again. And he's like spitting in their face like, man, fuck you.
Right.
How many times do you think people are going to accept that before they go, you know what? I'm done. I'm going to wipe my hands clean and clear of you.
You already said that he lost his Nike endorsement.
Oh, yeah, he lost that. And they were talking about taking that away from him back in February.
Shit.
So, where's the money coming from now, Johnny? Where's the money, Johnny? You know what I'm saying? Like, where's that income going to come from?
Right.
And he just has to realize that what we're going to do real quick, we're going to go to a commercial break. We're going to be right back. You listen to the Ray and Dre Show featuring Dre Manning. We'll be back in a few. What's going on, everybody? You're listening to the Ray and Dre Show. I go by the name of Dre Manning.
Dre Manning in the place to pop.
Once again, Raymond V couldn't be here, so if you're just now tuning in, you skipped through the video. Here's our reintroduction. So there's a lot been going on in the media today. I mean, not today, but just like this week.
This month in general.
Yeah, man, it's just been a lot. You know, you and I were both hip hop artists. Mm-hmm. So you know, it's a must that we talk about Afrika Bambaataa.
Yes.
The legend. I'm gonna keep it real, man.
What's up?
The legend, the pedophile,
God.
I mean, like, I'm not giving anybody a pass, man. Like,
right.
You know, we seen the lawyer jargon go on where he said, you know, this is out to destroy his legacy. The normal statements that any lawyer can draft up and put it out there. Ronald Savage, Troy, Hassan Campbell, and another mysterious man. I'm not sure if he actually came out and identified with who he is. They've all stated that Afrika Bambaataa molested them when they were teenagers.
Right.
People from the Zulu Nation are actually speaking out about it as well.
Right.
Star from the Star book. Wow, man, he's just been getting all the great interviews lately. Like, everybody's going straight to him.
He broke the story originally.
And like, he's just, everyone is going straight to him and they're talking to him about it. I want to know, Cornell University, they're under fire as well because Afrika Bambaataa's catalog was being housed at the university.
I saw that. That kind of made my heart smile. Like, initially, before the whole scandal broke, it kind of made my heart smile that, like, you know, they're getting his whole... They're getting, like, every record that he's had in his collection. I don't know if it was every record, but they're getting, like, his vinyl collection. But it's healthy.
You know they're going to remove that.
Most likely.
I mean, how do you feel about it? Because I know you and I briefly spoke about it when we first heard about it last week, or when you guys first told me about it last week. I've been following the story since then, but we didn't go too much into detail. We kind of left it to speculation and we moved on. We said we'll wait for Bambaataa to respond before we voice our opinion.
He's responded.
He responded that same day that we said that.
That's crazy. So see how we just put that out there?
That's on us. So how do you feel about the allegations? You know, because you have a stronger tie in history to hip hop than I do. I would say.
Okay.
So how do you feel about it?
Well, wrong is wrong. Let's just start off by saying that. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, I don't. You know, I always have this argument. I don't believe in right or wrong, but if you're fucking with kids and like if you're trying to like remove a kid's innocence for your own pleasure and shit, then that's just fucking wrong. Yeah.
Do you believe he did it?
Do I believe he did it?
Yeah.
Stories are coming out left and right. Like,
yes,
you don't want to believe that he did it, but
you don't want to believe it because of his legacy.
Right. You don't want to believe it because of his legacy, and you know you don't want to believe it because it's
sickening.
Right, it's sickening. It's really like disheartening to hear, but at the same time, it's like if the evidence is this great against you, then like, you know, I don't know what
you gotta call a spade,
right? You
gotta like sit down and go like, yo, hey, bro, you did this shit, and it's time that you come forward and admit it. But remember when B2K broke up? And
Chris Stokes,
Raz B was saying his cousin was molesting him and everything like that, but nothing really came out of that. It was just more like, oh, it did happen, and then it was like, nah, it didn't happen.
Like, yeah, like it could be looked at as, oh, maybe he's just salty, or maybe he just feels away. But
he's being light skinned.
God, and the light skin slander begins. But you know, here's the thing. You know, it's been. As you know, when you look at somebody like Afrika Bambaataa and all that this person has stood for, you know, and this person's legacy, like somebody who has stood for peace within hip hop, or just like promoting peace through hip hop, through music, because if you remember, like before, he used to be like a warlord up in the Bronx.
Was it part of the Spades?
The Black Spades.
He's part of the Black Spades.
Yeah, called Spade, right? But he was part of the Black Spades, and he was like a warlord. Then he went to Africa, and then he came back, and he was like, "Yo, like we can really do this."
Yeah,
but it's just it's insane.
Yeah,
it's insane because I like Planet Rock. I like Looking for the Perfect Beat. Like. Mm-hmm. Nigga, that's my shit.
I'm pretty sure a lot of people still love those records. I don't think the love for the music is gonna change. It's more so the identification with the person,
right? How
you identify with this person, because people who have been molested are not going to be fans of him anymore.
They're not at all. Especially if they were molested by him. Now the other thing as well is, with that situation, you don't want to. It's like you don't want to believe that Bam's doing this, but at the same time, you don't want to discount the people or discredit the people who have gone through this.
Mm-hmm. When we speaking of that, I mean, just put this out there. Me and Jay went to the Million Man March together
back in October,
and he actually pointed out Bambaataa for me, and I was like, "Oh, all right, cool." And it was like a whole crew of Zulu Nation dudes, young kids, older guys, and they was all out there. They mobbed out together,
right?
I wonder, like, kind of looking at this now, is this some things that he's still doing?
Right.
Like, if you were this comfortable doing this to 13-year-olds, it doesn't stop. Like, a rapist is a rapist. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think there's no reformation of a rapist. Like, you can't fix that.
Right.
There's something psychologically wrong with someone that feels like rape is the only way for them to, like, get some poon.
Or get some kind of sexual pleasure, which is just
and that's their arousal, is the fight for it.
Right.
So I wonder, is these are still actions that he's taking. I want to play this clip for you. It's from Zulu Nation. They're stating that they're turning on Afrika Bambaataa. That was pretty much just a headline. It's from the Star Chamber, and it's the former Zulu Nation leader of Chapter 13, Brother T. He speaks out. He speaks with Star about the situation. I want you to listen to it and tell me what you think.
No doubt.
All right. So now you've heard the allegations as of late, and you wanted to share some thoughts. Yes.
Yes.
Please.
Straight off the back, they're not lying. They're telling the truth about what was happening.
Oh wow.
Are you talking about the victims?
Yeah, the victims.
Alleged victims?
No, they're victims. They're straight victims.
Okay.
It was pretty much, it was known. It was very known. Before I had the fallout, I really didn't know much about what was actually going on. Mm-hmm. But on the inner circle in the apartment, it was damn known.
So that's the voice of Brother T, former Zulu Nation leader of Chapter 13. What do you say to something like that?
I mean, wow. When it's like that, like, okay, all along, like, overall, my stance is, you don't want to believe it necessarily.
Yeah.
You want to be in denial about something like this, but if it's true, then it's like,
you gotta call a spade a spade.
You gotta call a spade a spade, you know? And at the same time, you can't discount what somebody has been through. You can't just brush it off like, that's something that we don't really talk about, because in hip hop in general, like sexual abuse and why? Because it's like,
do you feel like he might have been abused himself, and that's what?
Who, Bam?
Bam.
It's a possibility. Now, I was listening to the Professor Griff interview, and he was talking about, like, the guy who was questioning him. He was like, yo, you ever realize when people talk about the good old days, they could actually be talking, there were people who actually lived through those days, and some of that shit that they went through wasn't so good.
Yeah.
And, there are just certain things that you can't forgive or that you can't discount.
Yeah.
And at this point, honestly, as much as, like, I didn't want to believe it, it's like you might not have a choice, because look at everything that's coming out.
Yeah.
Now, I feel like there are certain things that you can atone for. This thing in particular, I'm not too sure about.
Yeah.
And, it would feel better if we actually got a statement from Bambaataa, like if he actually like
rather than like an actual statement, like him coming forward and discussing the situation. I honestly feel like it's kind of like the Bill Cosby situation where they didn't want Bill to talk because like he was gonna end up saying like, look, I kind of did do it.
Bill Cosby admitted to the shit. Like there was an interview with Larry King where he talked about Spanish Fly.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Spanish Fly was like pretty much something you put into a girl's drink,
like
kind of get it. Like that, or just something to put them in a mood, you know. So he's like, oh man, he's like, yeah, you take the Spanish Fly, you put a little bit inside of the drink, and that's my worst Bill Cosby impersonation.
Yeah, it was horrible.
I'm tired of shit, nigga. But yeah, like he's admitted to it. Mm-hmm. Low key, like there have been videos where he's hitting on Sofia Vergara, or he's like. He has comedy skits about the shit. So Bill never really like cleared his name up.
Yeah, he kind of just
let
it rock.
Right.
In a way. I agree with you. I feel like Afrika Bambaataa needs to step up and say something because he's not just a pioneer in hip hop, but he's a pioneer of a movement as well.
Right.
And I'm pretty sure other people who are behind this movement, some are probably like, Bam, don't say. Some are probably like, Bam, you got to step up and say something. Like something has to be said. We can't just sweep this under the rug like everything else. You have grown men. These aren't teenagers. These are men who are in their 50s, pushing their 50s, saying like, yo, 20-something years ago, 30-something years ago, Afrika Bambaataa molested me.
Right.
And I get everybody saying, yeah, man, they keep saying that same story. It's the same story. It's the same story. It's the same story. So if we all hearing the same story, when is Bam gonna step up and tell his story?
His story, right. And, the key to it is like when you're going through something like that, you want to be able to like just say straight up, nah, nigga, I ain't do that shit.
Yeah,
like,
fact.
But where are you with it? Like, how come you're not, you have to step forward eventually.
Yeah. Like, what are you scared of?
Right.
Like, what are you truthfully fearing that you don't want to say anything about it? Like, is your public persona that important that you don't want to clear your name or actually own up to what you've done, like, and be accountable about it?
Like, when Michael Jackson got accused of doing the shit, he came out and he was like, no. Yeah, I didn't do that. Like, nah.
And then he was still persecuted and treated as he did it, and then he dies, and guess what? He never did it.
I never believed he did it anyway in the first place. I never believed Michael was touching the kids, but
it just shows you that. I guess you know what, and matter of fact, that actually shows something even stronger. It's a double-edged sword because if you step up and say no, I never did it, someone's gonna say yes, you did.
Right. Somebody's always gonna come up behind you, and
it's a lose-lose situation.
Right.
There is no win.
And allegedly, there are certain documents where, he's trying to persuade some of the victims to come forward, like not to come forward, but to like meet up with him to discuss like what they can do to prevent this from like coming out. Now, here's the thing.
Really?
Yeah.
What about because I know that they mentioned that there was pictures.
Yeah, they were saying that there was like a book of pictures that Bambaataa had where he was showing off like penises.
You think that book of pictures still exists?
Still exists?
Yeah,
it's possible. It's possible that that book of pictures.
You don't think they probably like set that shit on fire by now?
At this point, with everything that broke out, that book is probably like ashes.
Yeah,
but it's possible that it existed up to this point.
Just one or two pictures from that book. One or two of pictures from that book, identifying that these pictures are from Bambaataa's book.
Right.
Will crucify.
They will. And at first when the shit broke out, I was like, get the fuck out of here. No way. Like, Bambaataa ain't touching no fucking body. And then, and then it's like, I'm cool with some Zulu heads as well. So I'm cool with some people from the Zulu nation. And they describe this as the elephant in the room. Like
they get around them and nobody's like really saying much about it.
Right.
Everybody has their own thoughts and opinions on it, but based on their allegiance to the Zulu nation, no one's saying anything.
Right, that, and there's just like no, there's no way to. What the fuck am I saying? There's just for people to bring it up, it's like one of those things where you just don't speak on, but you know it's up already.
Yeah, like when it broke for me, when you guys told me about it, I honestly instantly said he did it.
You didn't know about it before we said anything?
No.
Oh wow.
I didn't know about it before y'all said anything. After I watched the listen, let me tell you something. Rape, molestation, those are not things you joke around.
No, they're not.
Those are not things that you play with. And just like when Bill Cosby came forward, like when all those women stepped forward, yo, bro, once they got like 2, 3, 4, he did it.
Yeah.
Like it sucks that it's coming out now, but once again, I give nobody a pass. Everybody has to accept their accountability. If I started shooting in this park across the street from the house, hey, fuck what I've done and what contributions I've made to anything, any and everything.
You shot into a fucking park with their kids.
So now when you destroy lives when you do things like this. It's just like rape. In ways, I feel like rape is worse than death because you have to live with that.
You have to live with it, and
you have to. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's women who what Final Outlaw said.
Final Outlaw has this line where he's like, every girl I ever loved was a victim of rape, and to some extent, that's true.
That's true.
It's true for myself.
Yeah. Every girl, I can honestly say every girl that I've met in some way, shape, or form, they were raped or molested.
Right.
So this is not something that gets swept under the rug.
It's not.
It's not acceptable no matter like what you've done, no matter who you are.
It is something that gets swept under the rug, and that's the problem.
Correct.
That's where the problem is.
I agree with that.
So, and
because all those Bill Cosby victims, that's it.
Right.
They couldn't persecute them. That's it. It's done. Nobody cares no more. We're not going to talk about it no more.
They're still going on with it, but at the same time, it's not up for discussion. It's like, all right, we know Bill's a creep. Get Bill the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
But in our community, like in the black community, 6 out of every 10 black girls has experienced sexual abuse in her lifetime.
Come on, that's a problem.
That's an issue. So,
and then it's not common to hear about it when it happens to boys, but it happens. It happens, and it's treated. I think it's treated when it happens to a male. It's treated even. It's treated in its most minimal form possible.
Absolutely.
And it's kind of like, well, you better not grow up to be a faggot. Right. Like, wait, what?
You get ridiculed for shit like that. Like, you let that nigga touch you. You got felt up on. Like,
you know what I'm saying? Like, this is something, even people who've probably heard about it now, they're probably traumatized. Right. And they've been molested by their uncles, by friends of the family that they cared about. And this is specifically talking about males. I know women deal with it on a consistent basis, but a male, for this to happen to a young man, you know, Ronald Savage, you know, he said he couldn't even grow close to women that he cared about. Right. Because it was just like all he could think about is how could another man do that to him.
And you know, if I see a fine woman walking across the street right now, and I smack her on the ass, or I get a handful of like, you know, her backside, that's molestation. That's molestation
100%.
You know what I'm saying? That's me violating your space and violating your rights.
100%.
So, you know, and a lot of people, they aren't aware of what they do. I mean, like, they think, oh yeah, well, you're supposed to talk to women this way, you're supposed to be that way. But what they don't know is that they're actually perpetuating like elements of rape culture, quote unquote. Yes. At first, I didn't believe in rape culture at first. I was like, yo, this is a bunch of bullshit. Like, what the fuck? Why is it rape culture? And then, like, you know, my ex broke it down for me. She was like, okay, like, guys think that, you know, we owe them something, or guys think that, like, because they're men, they're supposed to say, you know, we're supposed to do things that they ask. We're supposed to do things, and if we say no, and if they keep on going,
that they can
keep progressing,
that they can take it in any way that they feel.
Right? They're like, that makes me feel like, you know, that comes off to me as rapey. And then I thought about it, and I was like, yo,
it is.
It is, because it's like you're violating, you know, my personal space, or I'm violating your space. I'm going against your wishes.
Exactly.
And holding you against your will.
Exactly.
You know, so a lot of, like, men need to be more aware. And then there's this Afrika Bambaataa situation. I don't know if you heard about it, but she's pretty much saying that women need to, like, the young girls in high school, there needs to be uniforms, and they need to be more mindful of how they dress.
Like Aisha Curry said.
Right. Well, I don't know. Aisha Curry said something that was a little different. We're gonna get into that too, because that's something different for me.
Okay.
But are you saying wrap up? Mm-hmm. Because we're spending too much time on this topic.
No.
Oh, okay. What's up?
Keep going. Just keep going.
Oh, keep going. All right. So, with the Afrika Bambaataa situation, like she's saying that women need to dress up better so that way or like young women. You're gonna edit all this shit out anyway. Mm-hmm. But what Afrika Bambaataa said was like, young girls that are in high school need to dress a certain way so that way they don't turn their male teachers on.
Really?
Like
wow. This is weird.
It's very weird. And of course, in our community, like the first thing we'll say is, "Oh, you need not be a little fast ass girl or so and so." Mm-hmm. These girls out here fucking developing like full bodies before they even go to high school.
Yeah, agreed.
So it's like, like, oh, you need not attract like this creepy motherfucker who can't keep it in his pants or who can't like monitor himself or conduct himself around a grown ass woman.
He needs to not put himself around people like that. If you can't be around a woman without thinking about raping her, that sounds crazy alone. Like if you can't be around a woman without instantly thinking like I'm gonna fuck her,
right?
You need not to be around anybody.
Exactly. You need to be by yourself. You need not be near anyone at all. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like you need to be sanctioned off somewhere.
Yeah. Put yourself on an island, here's some magazines and poke some holes in those. You know what I'm saying? Like, but keep yourself occupied or do something that's not gonna affect the public. You know what I'm saying? Like don't destroy the life of someone else in order to get you a little satisfaction.
Right, in order to get your fix.
Yeah.
And what we have to teach men or like, boys, we have to teach them like, no, this is not okay.
It's not. Like I teach my son that. He knows like to tell me like, look, Dad, somebody touched me in XYZ place.
Right.
And the first thing I'm doing is I'm flipping the fuck out.
I'm like, okay, where's he at? Where's this? Like, who touched you where? Like, what the fuck?
There is no, oh, Dad, I thought it was okay, so I let him keep going. No. I'm teaching you this from right now, from the root. Don't let anybody touch you. You know what I'm saying? Like, you wipe your own butt. If you gotta pee, you hold your own pee-pee. You know what I'm saying? Nobody, right. I'm not gonna tell my son, hold your own dick. He's only 4. You know what I'm saying? But you definitely instill those things into them now, because even while watching Ronald Savage, he stated he couldn't understand why it was happening.
Right.
And you can tell that's something that he's never had a conversation with like his mom or his dad. Like, these things don't happen. You're not supposed to allow these things to happen. We have these conversations with our daughters, but we skip them with our sons.
With our sons, exactly. Thinking
we expect our sons to know.
Well, my mom, she had that conversation with me when I was younger as well. Like, yo, if anybody makes you feel uncomfortable, let me know. Tell somebody, talk to somebody, or what have you.
I feel at this point, this is a conversation we're gonna continue to have, and until we get like a statement, an actual statement from Bambaataa, it's always gonna be an open conversation. But fathers, mothers, protect your children. Talk to your children. Tell them, especially your sons, like just as much as you talk to your daughters about how if somebody touches you in a certain place and it makes them uncomfortable, have these conversations with your sons as well, because molestation and rape is real, and it doesn't just happen to girls. It happens to little boys. It happens to teenage boys. It happens to men in prison. It is a real thing, and it's something that you need to have a conversation with your children about. Not tomorrow, not the next day, but today. Right. Today. Have these conversations today, because there's way too many stories about how a child has been molested by his uncle, by his brother, by his whoever.
People who are supposed to be close to and
that's child. Usually where it happens from, is because they feel protected. And
then they're also, and even to those that are going through it, or even those that have went through it, talk to somebody.
Yeah. Don't feel. It's hard to say don't feel like, but I will say this, because I don't want to say don't. Right. What I'll say is someone's there to talk to. Even when you feel like no one is there, someone is there. Someone is there to listen. They might not have all the answers, but someone's there to listen.
Too many times you hear stories about like, I told such and such.
Yeah.
And, you know, I told my mom didn't believe me.
Yeah.
I got in trouble because I'm quote unquote trying to break up the family.
Yeah.
Or you see that creepy motherfucker that was touching you like at your family reunion and you're forced to give him a hug. Like,
exactly.
Girl, go say hello to your Uncle Odie.
Or you attempt to kill him.
Right.
Or you attempt to kill yourself.
Because of what you've been through. Like, you know, there's definitely, we need to open up more to each other, just like, even therapy, if you want to take it to that step, all of these resources are there.
Gonna help you be better, maintain your sanity.
Exactly.
But I know we've been going at this for a little while, man. I want to end this show on a high note, man. You're heading out to Texas. You gonna have some fun out there?
Yeah, it's gonna be dope.
Definitely, man. Like I said, the Afrika Bambaataa situation is something we're always gonna speak on. Next week, Ray will be back. We'll be recording a podcast with Ray. Mr. Brother Manat won't be here. He'll be back. He's going out to Texas, gonna have him a little fun. We're not gonna talk about it yet. I'm gonna get you when you come back.
Oh, okay.
But as always, you're listening to the Ray and Dre Show, Two Broke Geniuses Network, Indigo Studios, Creative Collective Worldwide. Thank you for presenting everything that we do. I'm Dre Manning.
I'm Jay Manop.
You're not gonna say the rest of it?
Oh, Jay Manop in the place to pop. You know what's funny though? This should be the Ray and J Show, and we should have like, wait a minute, like playing as a theme song.
That's not happening. But
like, wait a minute, where the fuck is Ray V at?
But on behalf of Raymond Vicious, we want to thank you for supporting everything that we do. Thank you for watching. Make sure to tune in next week for our next podcast. Peace.
You are now listening to the Ray and Dre Show. Just two broke motherfuckers out here making podcasts and shit.